Let's begin with the prayer.
Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So once again, welcome to our dialogue today on the topic, Who Sees Whom? So my first question to Vasu is, Vasu, we see so many things happening around us today. Even as we sit here, so many things are happening. And from the beginning of the day to now, we have gone through so many different activities. We have done so many things. So, do all these things that are happening, do they have just one cause? Or are there many causes?
There are so many things that happen around us. And the question is there a single cause or many causes? It is impossible to determine what caused a particular action or an event, because there is a saying in spirituality that the whole world is the cause of the whole world. That means everything causes everything. Putting it in another way, there is a force that acts on the body, which is animate or inanimate internally, and there is also an external force applied to it. So the change within oneself causes things around it to change, and it's an infinite loop. So it is impossible to determine whether there is a single cause, specific cause, or to a particular event, which means to say there are numberless causes. That means infinite number of causes for anything to happen in this universe, including the act of talking now. If I have to speak and somebody has to listen, then how does the voice come out of this vocal cord? There is breath that contributes to it. There is air that contributes to it. There is the vocal cord that contributes to it. There is prana that contributes to it. There is also the mind that contributes to it, thoughts. And with all that, I think if I have to speak now, I have to be healthy and fit. So the food that I eat, the water that I drink, all of these go to contribute to a simple act of speaking. So if you extend this to everything else, we can safely extrapolate and determine that there isn't a single cause for any event. There are numberless causes. So one way of saying this is um, that everything causes everything. Another way of saying this, seemingly opposite, but that means the same, is to say the universe is uncaused. That means the cause as a single entity collapses and breaks down. The cause as a distributed entity, that means distributed everywhere in the universe, in the interconnected universe, can be a model that can be looked at. What do you say?
So you're saying that instead of looking for one cause, you look for a distributed
not to look for, but to understand. To understand whether there is one cause, whether anything, for anything there can be a single cause or numberless causes, infinite number of causes.
But behind those infinite number of causes,
Behind those infinite number of causes, there isn't a single cause. The it is kind of it is a logical extrapolation. Behind the infinite number of causes, is there a single cause? So it boils down to the interface where the cause effect relation, where can we go, up to which point can we go to determine the chain of causes? We can go up to the point where the form meets the formless. The form includes thought, which is subtle form, or the gross bodies, which is the gross form. Beyond that, the question is there a single entity that caused all the forms put together? No, even the idea of God or Ishvara is not one single lumped entity. In Sanatana Dharma, Ishvara is, or God, is titled or given the attribute Sarvantrayami. That means he is present in everything, in everyone, and everywhere. Which means what? He is not one single entity. He is distributed everywhere in his own creation. And that gives a hope in spirituality to look for God, to realize God, not anywhere else, but in this very universe. So, is there one single entity, one single cause that has caused everything? No. In spirituality, we can term it as the source. But Nisargadatta Maharaj very nicely puts it. The source has never caused anything. It just is. Just like the sunlight. Is the sunlight the cause for the plant to grow? The photosynthesis? No. It just shines its light, gives its heat, gives out its radioactive energy by its very nature. Photosynthesis, germination of the seed, all of these happen with multiple agencies like the water, the manure, the earth, everything else. But without sunlight, germination, growth, photosynthesis is not possible.
so if I understand you correctly, you're saying the source is neither the effect nor the cause, it is just the source. And if we are looking for cause and effect, we come down to the manifest reality. That is why there seem to be multiple causes.
Infinite number of causes.
Infinite number of causes for every activity.
Yeah.
So are you talking about doing versus being?
if we say we are doing, it is natural for the mind to look for a particular cause for an event transactionally. And that is okay for a functional reason, for a transactional purpose. Um, when can we identify, when can we narrow down on specific cause for a specific effect, or a limited set of causes for an effect, when the operating boundary is reduced, shrunk to a specific small boundary, which means the universe, the action, the universe of action where it takes place is shrunk to a specific limited boundary. If we expand the boundary of our sphere of action to the extent of even the manifested universe, then the idea of single cause for an effect collapses. We all know if we push any object, if we throw a ball, it is likely that it will go in the direction in which it is thrown. But what happens if a wind blows across? Then the ball will change its trajectory. Therefore, while probability exists that the ball, we can predict the result, it is never certain. In the nature of things transactionally, we consider doing and being as the same. But just as we investigate a little more, we find that the mind and body are the instruments of doing, and they cause change within themselves, and the change within themselves cause other bodies and mind to change around them.
Can you give an example?
How do we say? Suppose I want to, just this morning, I was in the office working on a consulting project, and we had to send out a proposal. And I internally was thinking that the proposal has to go out today. And this change, this desire, this very desire to do that activity brought about a force within me, and I needed support from some of my colleagues in the office, and therefore I went out to them and asked for the information that I needed. And we sat together, collated the information, and sent out the proposal. Now, where did it start? It's the nature of the body and mind to cause change, anything, because body and mind cannot be changeless or without a change. They are natural, if we say a natural selection of the property of the body and mind is the change. And once the body and once there is a change induced in my body and my mind, automatically this change within me will induce a change inside me at a next level, and also with people and things around me. This is self-perpetuating, in the sense it's just like the fire continuing to burn. It will burn more and more once it is triggered. So Nisargadatta Maharaj very nicely puts it. Every action leads to a series of further actions, and there is never an end to an action as long as there is the universe. Can we identify the source of the action and the destination of the action? a particular action may seem to have ended somewhere, but that end will be a start for further action. Examine it in everyday life. We will understand it to be so.
Yeah, so I just saw you drinking a cup of coffee. So after you drink the coffee, then the cup has to be washed. Then after you wash it, you have to wipe it and put it away. So one action is leading to another action is leading to another action.
So we can never determine either the source nor the final destination of the action. It's just like a ball thrown, a rubber ball or a tennis ball thrown. It won't go and land on the floor at one point. It'll keep bouncing over and over again.
So friends, I have a question for all of you. You can type the answer on the chat. You have 1 minute. The question is, what brings about change according to you? You can type a word or a phrase or a sentence. Keep it short. Let's have your responses in a minute, within a minute. Yeah. So what brings about change? Wonderful. Anu Rao has said improvement. Wonderful, Anu. Yeah, very nice answer. If you improve, then automatically there is change in you. You are not what you were before you began.
Let me also probe.
Okay, Rama.
A thought.
Venkatesh says a thought. Wow. Yeah, the thought that something should change or you have to do something, that brings about a change. Indumati says fear or desire. Wonderful. The two main motivators. If I'm afraid of something, I will try to prevent that from happening. So I have to make some change. And if I want something, again, I have to go after it and make change. Malati Jankiram says,
an urge to be better.
An urge to be better. Wonderful. Very good, Malati. Wonderful.
So is it just to give another dimension to Vani's question, does action result in a change?
You can type yes or no for that. Does action result in change? I know all of you are very fast and typing one word won't take long for you. Come on, friends.
Rama Venkatesh says can.
It can, okay.
Not always, says. Right action can, Ramamani is saying. Anu is saying, yes, it depends on what the change is. Yashmita is saying yes. Thank you.
So is thought also an action? Does thought also come under action? Because we got an answer saying change begins with a thought. Yes, Anu, Indumati, Aruna, Rama, all are saying yes. Wow, we have an enlightened gathering here. Yes, we have three instruments of action mainly: body, mind, and intellect. So the action of a body is a physical act. The action of the mind is a thought or feeling. And an action of the intellect is to take a decision or to analyze something, but finally to result in a decision. So all these are also actions, right? Thought is an action, emotion can be an action, and decision can also be an action. Still at the subtle level of the inner subtle body. To get translated, we need the physical body.
So just feeding on this idea of instruments of action are the is the composite body, mind, and intellect independent or conditioned instruments? Are they driven? Do they act by their own volition, or are they influenced by some force external to it?
You can just type internal or external.
No, whether they are independent
Yeah,
or
whether
dependent.
they're independent or dependent instruments.
A mix of both, Malti is saying.
Okay. Aruna says conditioned. One is influenced by other. Indumati says dependent.
Anurav says interdependent.
Okay.
Okay. So when these instruments of action finally act within the BMI complex, now what are they driven by? They are really not independent because the intellect is actually influenced by memories through the mind. The mind starts generating alternatives. Its function is to generate a lot of thoughts. But then, for all the thoughts that are already stored, the, the, the decisions by the intellect or the mind or the body, they are influenced by the memory, the past memories. That is why many of the seers say, can we look at a thing as if we are looking at it for the first time? Which means just like a newborn baby. That means without the influence of any memory. So where does actually the memory lie? It lies in the unconscious realm. Then it comes to the level of the conscious mind when certain memories are recalled by certain triggers, and it results in action. Therefore, the idea is that the change at the level of the gross conscious level is not a real change. A true change is the change in the unconscious level, or the samskaras or the vasanas. And therefore, it is important for us to act on our unconscious to bring about a transformation rather than act on the instruments of change. Is that a fair argument?
So just for an example, I would like you to complete the fill in the blanks, okay? Mary had a... Can you type? Whatever comes first to your mind, can we type?
Malti is
Little lamb, Malti says little, Indu says little lamb.
Aruna, little lamb. Yashmita, little lamb.
Yeah. So, ditto.
Ditto.
Okay. So, where did that little lamb come from?
I think I'm going to open up the mic.
Yeah. So, when I say Mary had a, you could have said a handkerchief, Mary had a book. Mary had a um, new sari.
Listening to the
A
rhymes.
deep memory.
Yeah, so that is vasana, which comes up unconsciously, just without any effort. It is there before you know it. Even if I didn't ask you to type it, we would have all completed it in our minds, right? Maybe after some time we'd have been humming, Mary had a little lamb, without even observing. When we go out of the session, we might be humming the tune also.
So vasana is not very remote. It is right here. At this point, whatever comes up into our conscious level. That's what Vani is trying to say. Not something we need not go lifetimes behind.
When did you last chant Mary had a little lamb? When did you sing it, rather?
55 years back.
See, but still, it is so strong.
So how quickly it came up. That's the power of vasana.
So when we say I did, I caused the change, is it a reality or an illusion?
Could you repeat that, please?
So I'm following up on Vani's statement that vasana or vasanas influence our action. So when I say I did, or I did a certain thing, or I caused this event, I organized this satsang, is it a reality or an illusion?
Hindu is saying illusion.
It's
Mama is saying
illusion.
In what sense?
It is both real and illusion.
Okay. Both real and illusion. So in what sense is it real and in what sense is it an illusion?
Yashmita is saying illusion, there is no single cause.
Yashmita has caught on. Because when I say I did, that means I am taking the entire credit to one single entity, which is me. In reality, there are infinite forces, infinite agencies around me contributing to what I actually did or what happened. What has happened because of multiple forces in the universe, out of which the individual's volition is just one of them. I want to speak, I want to conduct a satsang is one particular desire or a volition from the individual. But in addition to that, there are umpteen number of other causes. But what does the mind do? It says, I did it. I am organizing the satsang. I am organizing this event. I sent the proposal. I completed the project.
If all of you are not here, then it doesn't become a satsang. And without our laptops, our phones, and the network, and innumerable other things.
So the fellow who claims I did is the actual mischief maker, causing a lot of problems. But in reality, everything causes everything, including itself and everything else.
Ramamani has said something, Anu has said something.
Ramamani is saying, I is just a pawn of the striker. Okay, wonderful. Anu is saying, in that case, we are not assuming as I am doing. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I think we have been having wonderful participation from all of you. Now, I have a little bit slightly shifting it. Can I say, since I'm not the individual doer, or I'm not the doer at all, then how can I be aware and yet unaffected? Can I be aware of what is happening? Can I be aware of the causes and the effects? But can I remain unaffected? What do you all think? Yes or no?
Yes, I think
Yes.
yes.
Yes?
For people of your caliber, it's possible. But
No, no,
No,
no.
no,
It's
no.
not about that.
no, not all can think like that. Many cannot. They feel they have done it. A higher level of spirituality is needed to think like that.
Hmm. Want to-
So it is not higher or lower. It is just a shift in the perception or shift in the attention to what is happening. Shift of attention to what is happening at a little deeper. So typically, for example, when a person is sick, it is normal when a close family member is sick. It is normal for us to act on it, and then give the required attention necessary. Take the person to a doctor for a consultation. So what is happening? Are we not getting affected? We get affected because we are operating at the level of the mind, identifying with the body and mind. When we identify ourselves at the level of body mind, then what happens to the other's body mind will also influence us. So at that level, it is practically not possible for us to look at things, be aware of what is happening, and remain unaffected. Then are we doomed? Is there no hope? Stepping back and watching, being aware. What are we essentially hinting at? We're hinting at trying to be a witness as a seer, to watch things that are happening. That means, how is that possible? What does being a witness mean? What are the qualifiers for being a witness? Can I physically simply step back and watch? Or can I even psychologically step back and watch? Now, stepping back, is it physical or even psychological? Can we just simply detach in the body or the mind and then step back, create a distance, artificial distance? How is stepping back possible?
Padmini says.
Padmini is saying you have to consciously say, I am not the BMI, and detach systematically. Yeah. This is the key thing, because at the level of body mind, there is involvement naturally. Because where does relationship occur? At the level of body mind intellect. Beyond the body mind intellect, there is no relationship, isn't it? Therefore, if we say be a witness, be the seer, be aware of something, awareness is a quality of seeing. Awareness of an object is a quality of seeing without being affected. Not the pure awareness, but awareness of events and objects. And the other thing is involvement real, or is it artificial? By getting involved, am I doing any good to the action or the event? Not really. Why? When I get involved with a certain act, then my mind is cluttered with thoughts, feelings, and emotions about that particular event or the person. In that case, my decision gets clouded by the involvement. So, really, involvement, while it can be a show for an expression of concern externally, it really doesn't do any good, because the chances of making a mistake in the wrong direction, is very high. An inappropriate decision being taken is very high with involvement. That while involvement seems to be doing good for me, it's only a psychological satisfaction for myself, that I am getting involved, I am concerned about somebody. At that time, it really happens, but then does it do good? Not really. Therefore, even if is there another level of being aware of things, people, and events where I can be watching those things and yet not be involved with them? For that, I think Padmini has rightly said, I have to first take out the notion that I am the body, mind, or intellect. As long as I am rooted in the idea that I am the body, it does. Then involvement with other bodies and minds is natural consequence of that particular single seed. Therefore, when I say I am not the body, mind, intellect, and get established there, then there is a possibility of stepping back. Then I can watch what is happening without being impacted. Under that, then really, when I see things with an undisturbed state, then the action that flows will be the most appropriate for that, because the awareness itself will drive action because it is unconditioned. As long as we are at the level of body, mind, intellect, the instruments of action are completely conditioned to various degrees. Completely, I wouldn't say, to various degrees, depending on where we are. But it is impossible to be unconditioned by operating at the level of body, mind, intellect. So, is it possible to be aware and yet unaffected? Yes. As a witness, yes. But how do we get as a witness? We cannot force ourselves to be a witness by withdrawing either physically or mentally. The seed, the root seed, I am the body, the belief that I am the body, must be systematically removed. Initially, we may be a witness, temporarily at least, for certain times during the day. But as we systematically work on it, our ability to stay as a witness, as an observer, as a seer, will increase and become longer and longer. Okay, Nirmala is saying, surrender to God your action, that is the only way. Okay. Then Anurag is saying, selective likes and dislikes makes us involved or not involved. Wonderful. Padmini is saying, we are very easily swept away and sometimes it's hard to detach. I always tell myself that practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect.
So,
Do you want to say anything?
according to whatever you think, each one of you, what is the witness? What is the witness? You can either unmute and say, or you can type on the chat.
We are talking of witness as the seer or observer here.
Yeah, the witness who is aware of the thoughts inside, feelings inside as they arise, who is aware of sounds, all the sensory inputs outside. Rama Venkatesh is saying our mind, small self. What do you all say? It's a thought too, Padmini Iyer says.
Just a witness, but not involving yourself, Nirmala Srinivasan is saying.
The question is, what is the witness? Intrinsically, what is the witness? Whatever you think is fine. Please type it or say it.
You come out of it, and as an observer, you see your action. That is witnessing.
As an observer, we see our own action, that is witnessing. Malti is saying inner awareness. Nirmala is saying observer. Yashmita is saying witnessing is the self nature, capital self nature. Dayananda Mane is saying I am not the doer. Padmini is saying but a thought to hold on until you realize your true self. Witness is nothing but a thought to hold on until we realize the true self.
Vasudha Hegde.
Vasudha is saying, I am not affected by time and space.
Wow, a lot of
Yes.
points.
So let me lean on seeing without I is what Ramesh Subbana is saying. Thank you. As inputs keep coming, I will try to lean on Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj's teaching to say that awareness is like a blank page, nothing available. And witness is like the tip of the pencil touching the blank page, just one dot, where the dot is dimensionless in time and space. So, since the pencil doesn't move, then it is just a simple dot without any shape. It's able to see things. Now, what happens when the pencil moves? It creates a myriad of patterns on the blank page, either a line or a curve or a square or a triangle or any arbitrary shape. Now those are resulting objects in the form of thoughts and emotions. Now, where is the witness? A single dot, a single point is available at every point in every pattern that is drawn. Yet, while the point makes up shape by the movement, in itself it is not attached to any shape, any pattern. So a particular, a neat way of putting it is to say that the witness is like a dot on a blank page. Then that is able to see all the patterns that is drawn on the sheet. Unaffected, being unaffected. So, what is a witness, therefore? It is awareness of seeing an object. When the object comes, then awareness, when it sees an object, it turns itself into a witness. That means a seer, an observer. Though it is unaffected, it is still an entity. How? It's a small dot on the blank page. So, as some of you have already observed, it is one step that we hold on to till we realize our true nature. And so, then comes the question, what is the fact? Is the seer the fact? Or the object that is seen the fact? Or this only the process of seeing that is a fact? Let me bounce this question to Vani and see what she would like to say.
So we'll bounce it to our. I'm an escapist by nature. Okay, so I pass on the buck. So what do all of you think? Can you repeat the question?
Okay, what we are talking of is the witness as an observer is the ability of the person to see without being affected. So that means it is when there is an awareness of an object, the witness comes into being. The observer or the seer comes into being. Therefore, when we talk of a seer or see, we are saying there is an observer or a seer, there is an object that is seen, and there is seeing itself. So it is typically called the triputi or the triad: the seer, the seen, and the process of seeing. Which of them is actually real?
Nirmala says.
Seer is unaffected. Nirmala is saying the first one is the truth, seer is unaffected. Seer as an observer is unaffected. Is that Nirmala is saying yes. Yeah. Anybody else would like to share anything?
Which is apparent and which is real?
It all seems to be an illusion. Everything, all three, seer, seen, and seeing, all three are illusion, Ramaji. What is certain in the three? Can we say the object that is seen is certain, or the seer, myself, I am certain, or the seeing is certain?
If you see seriously, nothing is there. Seer, see, that because everything will combine. I remember Mr.
Okay.
Krishnamurti going to a higher level and saying like that. No seer, no thing, nothing to see. Everything will merge and nothing is there.
Okay. So
The seer is there.
seer is there. Okay. So I think everyone is, many people are gravitating to seer is certain. Aruna is saying nothing is certain. which is another view.
And she said everything merges into one.
Everything merges into one. Merges into what? That is what we have to see. That if we look at it, does the seer exist prior to seeing?
No, there was no
Isn't it?
seer at
No.
all.
So, does the object exist without the seer?
Yes, object was there. But
Does the object exist without the seer? If there is nobody to see, is there an object in your experience?
no, not in the experience, but physically it is there.
No? How? How is
Yes,
it
it
there?
is there in our experience.
If it is not in your experience, how is it physically available?
Only if I see there is an object.
1 minute, please. 1 minute, please, Nirmalaji. Hold on.
We are not seeing it. We are not seeing it, but it is there.
Here, the domain we are talking about is your own experiential domain, not anyone else's. In your own experiential domain, unless you see an object, does it exist for you?
If I am not seeing, it is not there.
Suppose you are asleep, deep sleep. Is there an object? Is
I am
there
not
your
seeing
body?
that.
No. Is there a body? Do you experience your body in deep sleep?
No, not in deep sleep.
Be there, please. Just be there. When you do, how do you not experience your body in deep sleep?
Because our consciousness has gone above, or it's not there at all to observe my body also.
You're not seeing the seer is not there. The person who's seeing is not there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
All right. So therefore, the object is not available to me if I am not present as a seer.
Yes.
That is a logical conclusion. Nirmala ji, you wanted to say something?
Nirmala?
Nirmala, while I was talking to Aruna, you wanted to say something.
Only if I see there is objects.
So
if there is no body, there is no mind in my deep sleep, I don't see anything.
yes, correct. Yeah. So the fact that now nothing can be said about, nothing certain can be said about the object. Similarly, nothing certain can be said about the seer. What can be said very certainly? Only about the process of seeing. Only about seeing. The way to look at it is, can there be an unseen object? No. Can there be an unseeing seer? No. But both, there can be seeing completely. Because when the seer is not identified, there is only seeing. So what is certain in the whole process is only seeing. And that is actually one step prior to the seer, which is the light of the witness or sakshi that somebody has pointed out. So, as people have pointed out, the seer and the seen merge into seeing in a single entity. Quote unquote entity, but it is not an entity. There is only seeing, there is neither the object nor the seer. Only how there is no object or seer, we cannot say for sure that the object is real. We cannot say for sure that the seer is real. Would you like to say something?
No. So, is this clear to everybody? Whatever was discussed, please say yes or no.
Yes, Vaniji, very much. Very much.
Wonderful.
Yes.
So we are saying that when we realize I am not the body, mind, or intellect, it is possible not to be affected by whatever is happening around me. It is possible to be efficient, to be very efficient, to be very competent, because I am not affected by whatever is happening around me. So that is one advantage of letting go of I am the body. Are there other advantages? What do all of you see? What would you like to share? What are the benefits of realizing I am not the body? Of course, mind and intellect included.
A doctor will never operate on his relative, on his father or his mother, because he is involved. He cannot be away and do that operation. So usually he gives it to his friend or his colleague or somebody, because they can remain little unaffected and do the operation.
Correct.
Whereas this person, he is himself having that pangs of fear and all. So he will not be able to do the best.
Yeah, wonderful example. Thank you, Nirmalaji. But are there many benefits to this? And what are those according to you? You can name one benefit other than what we have said. Can you name other benefits? I'm sure all of you are aware of the benefits.
So one way of looking at it, like Vani posing the question, is to see what happens when I am associated with the body.
Padmini says freedom. If you dissociate, you have freedom.
Freedom.
What kind of freedom, Padmini? Anurag is saying detachment is easier.
Detachment is easier.
Okay. Other answers quickly in about 1 minute. We would love to hear what your points are, because till now we've been getting a lot of inputs, very good inputs from everyone in the session.
When you're not involved, that is the time you will be most efficient.
Yes.
Most efficient is one advantage. Yes.
Very true.
So much peace and one is affected. Okay.
Yashmita is saying nothing to hold on to.
Peace is what another thing that
Vasudha
Shobhana is
Hegde
saying.
is saying we will not blame each other. Wonderful.
Okay.
Yes. A Sthita Prajna doctor can operate on anybody.
Yeah,
Yes.
good point.
Very good. Thank you, Maniji.
Okay. So would you like to sum up what are the benefits?
Okay,
also?
fundamentally, I think we have got many answers. Peace, and then detachment is easier. We won't blame each other. So all of these arise from one foundational knowledge that when I detach from the body, when I know clearly I'm not the body, then we must realize that we are a mix of two things. One that is unchanging and the other part that is changing. What is changing is the body, mind, and intellect. And what is unchanging is the self. So when I am actually the witness, then what happens to the body, mind, intellect, the changes that happen to the body, mind, intellect will not affect me. When I am attached to the body, mind, intellect, then the changes that happen to the body, mind, intellect, I will think it is those changes are happening to me. So all of the answers, peace, not blaming each other, detachment is easier. All of these stem from actually identifying the difference between the changing part and the unchangeable part. Unchangeable part is the light of the witness or the self, and the changing part is the instruments of action, experience, and knowledge, which is body, mind, and intellect.
Yashmita has come up with another benefit.
Yashmita is saying action is tending to one's emotions first. With this knowledge, action will tend to the real need. Okay.
What happens to suffering, psychological suffering? What happens to anger, jealousy, competitiveness? What happens to happiness? If I realize I'm not the body, what happens to all these things? Will I be happy all the time? Yes, no? Yes.
Rama Venkatesh is saying yes. Anurag is saying yes. Okay. So observing what is happening to the body as a witness, as a seer. Vani has posed a very interesting question. What is happening to happiness or sadness or suffering? How do we look at that? Where is the field of operation of happiness, suffering, all of that? Where does it operate? It operates at the level of the mind. Where is the witness? Witness is one step prior to the mind. So can happiness, sadness, suffering affect the witness? It can no doubt affect the body and mind. It will, because the field of operation of happiness, sadness, disease, ill health, pain, sorrow, even success, failure, all of these are in the realm of body-mind. And once it affects, it will impact the body-mind in many ways. But the knowledge, the wisdom that I am not the body-mind pushes me to be the seer or the witness of the body-mind, where none of these have an impact. Because all of these things, success, failure, happiness, joy, sorrow, suffering, ill health, cannot touch the witness. Witness is a seer. Very nice.
So we
question.
come to the theme of the whole discussion. Now, who sees whom? We have a witness. When we say the manifest witness is seeing things, what is the manifest witness? What is the unmanifest witness? And when seeing is happening, who sees who?
Who sees whom?
Can we have some inputs?
The subject sees the objects.
The subject sees the object. Thank you.
Any other inputs?
So, at the level of the seer,
Sakshi sees all.
Sakshi sees all. The witness, Sakshi, Rama, Venkatesh, are you? Senses and the mind is the manifested, is what Anu is saying. Yeah. So, with the help of Drik-Drishya Viveka, we can clearly identify who sees whom. And there are 3 levels of seers according to Drik-Drishya Viveka. The first level is the senses. The senses are the seers, and the world or the objects are the seen. The gross objects are the seen. So the eyes see the object.
This can be the object.
If this is a book, yeah, wonderful book. This is the object. My eyes see the object. So eyes are the seer, and the book is the seen. Now, the second level of seeing is the mind becomes the seer, because the mind knows whether how without the mind, if the mind doesn't pay attention to the object, then even if I see an object, it does not register. Therefore, the mind knows whether the eyes are seeing clearly, whether I need specs. When I remove my specs, I can't see the objects. So who is saying the screen is blurred? It is my mind saying my eyes are blurred, they have power. So at the second level of seeing, the mind becomes the seer, and the eyes or the sense organs become the object. Now, who can see the thoughts, feelings, and emotions in the mind? That is the witness, the third level of seer. Now, who can see the witness? None. Witness only is the absolute. So at that level, when there is total awareness, pure awareness, there is the power of seeing, but no entity to be seen, or no entity as a seer and no entity to be seen. So, who sees whom depends on, we can take it at 3 levels according to Drik-Drishya Viveka.
And for the Jnana Yajna today, we thank all of you for being part of it. Let us close our eyes for a moment. We will do Lokarpana.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Brahma Pranamastu.